time frame where if something's been around long enough, it enters the public domain, and as a result of such a thing, the horror world can take it, turn it into a horror movie, and cash in on it, which I think is perfectly fine if it's in the public domain or whatever. This is how we got a Winnie the Pooh horror film. This is how we're getting a Peter Pan horror film. This is how we're getting a Steamboat Willie horror film. So we got a few of those, but I haven't seen one of those that's any good. Now we have Shiver Me Timbers, which, if you didn't know just by the title alone, is a take on Popeye the Sailor Man. So we have a modern day slasher flick with a Popeye theme because we have a group of, I guess, 20-year-olds. I don't want to say they're teenagers, like a group of 20-year-olds. One of them is named Ollie, or Olive, or Olive Oil, if you couldn't catch the drift on that. They come to this place to have like a big final hoorah before they go off and do what they're going to do. It just so happens to be the same night as a meteor shower thing. And these things are hitting Earth, and these things are causing problems. And one old sailor man, who just so happens to be called Popeye, is infected by this, and he becomes this big hulking brute that you see here on the cover of the Blu-ray, and he proceeds to go around and kill people for the film, while Olive Oil has to play our final girl. So yeah, it's nothing that you're going to necessarily want to write home about. It does take influence from several horror films. The opening of the movie does the whole crime scene photo and sound effect thing like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There is a tense scene with Popeye and some people having sex, which is very similar to Friday the 13th. And the movie can't help but at times try to take it almost like a dig at Evil Dead, even though I'm sure it's just done for fun. But one character, I don't want to spoil anything, but one character pulls out this gigantic table saw thing that they put on their hand, and someone calls it a chainsaw, and they say chainsaws are for kids. So yeah, that was a little bit lame, but they do that. And they even say groovy at one point in here. So yeah, they kind of try a little too hard at times in this movie. But the biggest sin this thing commits is the fact that, there's two big sins it commits. One of them is Popeye, when he's hulking and he's this big old brute, you can tell he's wearing like a mask, and there's not really a whole lot of facial expressions or whatnot, if any. Popeye doesn't seem to have much of a personality. He walks around grunting famous lines like "Shiver Me Timbers" and "Blow Me Down" and all this stuff that we're used to Popeye doing. But when the blood starts flying, and the blood does start flying quite often in this thing, it seems to be mainly CGI blood. So there's a lot of that, and that is something that I've never been a fan of. And I wasn't a fan of that. I wish they could have done more of a prosthetic, fake stage blood type thing. But when people are getting carved up and you see a whole bunch of fake blood splatter, CGI blood splatter, it does kind of take you out of it. It almost makes you think you're watching some old video game. So yeah, that's the biggest sin this thing commits. One character, I think, for whatever reason, ends up crawling around on the ground for the last 10 minutes of the movie. I don't think her legs are broke, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. There's just little things, but if you still look past that, it's fun enough for what it is. You could probably get a couple of laughs out of it with some people that you're friends with if you watch it. If you take the CGI blood out and you put natural blood in here, you probably have something that could be, thought of in pretty high regard. I think it's probably better than the Pooh movies, but it is what it is. I'm still, because I like the slasher aspect of it, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5, a very generous 3 out of 5, because this one here is nothing necessarily you want to write home about, but it is interesting to see your typical slasher people doing the mix with a Popeye character, as you see here. So yeah, that's what you're dealing with. 75 minutes, doesn't stay too long, but it's still kind of long enough. But yeah, a very lenient 3, but a 3 nonetheless.